Hey everyone, it's been a few weeks since I've been able to do an update and just wanted to get everyone caught up to speed with the crazy pretzel twists of doing ministry in I won't even call it post-pandemic, resolving pandemic world. Um, as you know, we're getting ready to do the 3 camps in Austria. And well, I'll be meeting with a lot of our European leaders here in just a couple hours. And we'll be going through a lot of the protocols with COVID as far as what we know now. Just yesterday, we got an email from the new manager, the new director of the castle in Austria. And it looks as though they're saying they expect the Austrian regulations to be, and so they're enforcing it now so that we can be prepared, is that we will have to be at half capacity. So that's a bit of a problem since we've already registered beyond that. So we're like, okay, what do we do? Well, what we do is we make sure that the students and their mentors are at the castle, and then we have any they're not non-essential workers, they're just not meant to be with the students every moment, and those are the speakers and the worship team, and they'll be off campus at Airbnbs. And so we have another issue where we're only allowed to have a certain number on campus at one time. So we're going through our options as far as seating goes. And you know this, if you're in Europe, you know that this is how it goes, where you register for your church services and you have to sit a certain distance apart. There can only be a certain number of people in the building at once or in the room at once. So we are told that we can have no more than 100 on campus at any one time. So we're debating our different options, whether we are going to rent a conference room, a large conference room in the village of Millstadt, and have the high school do their worship there. Thankfully, we are blessed with several speakers and several worship leaders. So we have the ability to split the groups up, which we were going to do anyway. We were just going to do it at the castle, have the middle school service from 6:30 to 8 and the high school service from 8:15 to 9:45. That was the plan. Plans. That word almost doesn't even mean anything anymore. But we have the plan for everything. We have an A and a B and a C. Another one of our issues is that the castle normally has students that come over from the different Calvary Chapel Bible colleges, and they do what it's called a summer of service. And they just don't have very many that came this year because of the pandemic. So they're shorthanded, and they're telling us, we just can't handle your group because we don't have the staff. And we're like, what do you need? We're used to just showing up and doing everything for the camp ourselves. We don't normally have the facility that we're renting pitching in with the event. So we're meeting on Monday with the director of the castle. He wanted to meet at 11 a.m. his time, which would have been 4 a.m. here. I'm actually in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. As Brian's working up here, I'll be going home in a few days. We try not to stay apart more than a week, so I try to come up and visit him wherever he is. We're going to be meeting with him instead of 4 a.m. Central Time Monday, which is when he proposed the meeting. We asked if he could push it back, and so we'll be meeting at 6 p.m. European time, which is 11 a.m. here, which is much better time. I would have gotten up 3:30 in the morning for the meeting, wouldn't be the first time, but I'm really glad that he rescheduled it for later in the day. But we'll be asking exactly what kind of help he needs and what we can do. Primarily, they were going to lead the kitchen, and as you know, serving food to 150, 200 people is a huge undertaking. So if we need to do that, we need to have a whole different team to handle the food. So we're meeting with him to find out exactly what it is he needs and how we can help that. We're also looking into what kind of travel documents we need. Do we need an electronic passport showing that we've been vaccinated. And how do we get that? Every site that we've been to so far, these are government sites, and they say you may or may not need it, because nothing's been officially put out there. What we're looking at is an electronic, an app actually from the EU that would have a QR code that could be scanned to show that we have received the vaccine. Or in some cases, for those, we have a couple that aren't vaccinated, but they've had COVID. Some countries are telling us that that's good enough as long as it's within 6 months. They still have the antigens in their system. Other countries are saying no. You need to have a clean COVID test within 72 hours of entering the country. We're playing it by ear. So we're trying to err on the side of doing more than what we possibly may need to do, in hopes we won't need it, but we won't come up shorthanded. So we're looking at all the different things that we might possibly have to do. And folks would say, look, is it worth it? You know, you're going to all this trouble and expense and time and planning, and then throwing those plans out and starting new plans, and then throwing those plans out and starting new plans. And yeah, it's worth it, because these students are worth it. These young people are worth it. These kids are worth it. And our military families are worth it. And beyond that, Jesus Christ is worth it. So there's nothing that we can do in service to his kingdom that is anywhere close to what he has done for us. And so, yeah, we're continuing on, and we're doing our due diligence. We're checking sites every day. We are finding out what we need. We are adjusting. We're throwing out plans, making new plans. And we've got a plan this dan and the other. For example, we have a large team coming to serve from the United Kingdom. So they're in a base, Mildenhall, Lakenheath area of England. And that the EU has not opened up the United Kingdom to be able to come in. They're not on the green list of who's allowed to come. The United States is, but we have 7 people coming from the UK that are going to be handling a lot of the high school camp. So we have to come up with a plan if they are not able to come. We expect that they can. We expect that the EU is going to allow people living in Britain to come over by then, by August 16th. However, we do have a plan if we need to ask some of our worship leaders to wear 2 hats, as a worship leader and as, or some of the people on the worship team, should I say, to wear 2 hats and to help out with the small groups. But we will figure it out. God already knows. He knew this was going to happen. He knew it was going to be hard. And I have to tell you, this is why we're one of the only organizations that do anything like this. Club Beyond used to have camps. I don't even know if they have camps anymore. I don't think they have recently. I don't think they are this summer. But we do hard things because other people aren't doing it. And that's what it means to do missions work, is you go where the need is, not where it's easiest, not where it's cheapest, not where it's most convenient, but where it's not convenient. Because if it was easy, a lot of people would want to do it, right? So be praying for us. Pray for Jonathan. He's the manager of the castle there in Austria. He took over right before the pandemic started. So I get the sense that he's a little overwhelmed. And if there's a way that we can help him and encourage him and help him to feel a little more comfortable, and you know, he's had to cancel events and reschedule and cancel and reschedule, and he's not sure exactly. So he's overkill with what he's asking us, because he doesn't know what's going to be asked of him as the manager of a big property like that. And, you know, we actually know a little bit about what it means to manage a big property in a castle and have to go through all of the government regulations. So we understand it, we get it. So be praying for him, pray for favor with him, but also pray for his peace. He's a believer. He's part of the Calvary Chapel team there in Europe. Pray also for our team, that everyone would be able to get their documents that they need. Pray that the bus is able to cross the border, and that our students don't have to have the vaccine. Now we're finding out who does and letting the parents know that we don't know what's going to change between now and then. So we may have some students who can't come, but we don't know that yet. And there's no way to know it because the guidelines in Europe and really in the States too, they seem to change every week and sometimes more than once a week. So we're just keeping our ear to the ground and we're being prepared for everything. But more than ever, we really need y'all to agree in prayer with us about these certain things, about the bus and the students' uh, paperwork to get from Germany and Italy and Belgium and the UK into Austria and back. We don't want to keep them. They need to go home at the end of it. Also pray for our workers. So far, everyone coming from the States, we're all good to go. We know what we need. It's more difficult for the folks coming from England. So be in prayer for them and just unity in our team. When things get hard, you know, our flesh gets provoked and we can become a little unspiritual. I'm saying we, not me, of course, you know, I'm kidding. Of course, all of us can feel overwhelmed and frustrated. And so just pray for unity in the team. We really, really are asking for your prayers, as well as, of course, pray for the financial support that's still lacking. We have several churches that are getting ready to do an offering over the next few weeks that are highlighting Jacob's Generation in July, as it's the 4th of July, so it's a patriotic month. So please be praying with us about that. And we just appreciate y'all's support. This is, I know I sound so Tennessee. You can't help it when you live there. It's y'all's and y'alls's and all this stuff, but it just rubs off. Some people tell me I have an accent, but I don't hear it. I still feel like I sound like I'm from Nebraska. But anyway, please be praying for us and for our team, and we will check in again very soon. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.